Hi, I'm Mark from JMD Hardwood Flooring, family owned and operated for over 20 years. And today we're talking about installing these beautifully engineered hardwood wide plank floors manufactured by Northern Wide Plank. First thing to note is that hardwood floor installation should be one of the very last steps of any construction or renovation projects. All outside doors and windows must be in place, while all concrete, masonry, plastering, and other wet work must be complete and dry. In addition, you can also check out Northern Wide Plank's wood flooring installation guide to ensure all other job site requirements, such as grading, temperature, and humidity levels and construction standards are met. Today, we're going to be installing these 10-inch Northern Wide Plank engineered hardwood floors. These beautifully handcrafted Dover planks are from their Wixom collection. Before we begin installation, it's essential to inspect the material for color, finish, milling, and grade. Identify the pieces that may not be acceptable for this installation. It's also vital to ensure you have done the correct subfloor preparation and moisture checks, which you can find more details of in the Northern Wide Plank wood flooring installation guide. When it comes to color, it's important to pre-sort the planks prior to installation. As these are organic planks, natural color variations occur, so it's important to sort the individual planks by color. We can do this by opening up several bundles from different parts of the shipment. It's possible to create other diverse looks depending on how we install the planks. If we merge colors gradually, we create an even homogeneous effect. If we mix dark and light planks, we can create a more dramatic look. Whether you are installing the floor using the glue down method or the glue and nail staple method, it's important to do something we call racking the floor. Racking the floor means cutting or selecting 4 or 5 different planks in random length, differing by at least 24 inches. Expansion joints of 5/8 of an inch are necessary to allow the wood to react to changes in ambient humidity. Northern Wide Plank mostly manufactures oak wood planks. However, they have their own collection of genuine reclaimed wood floors called artifacts, which are supplied at random width. This means there is no repeating pattern implied or guaranteed. So it's important to obtain a tally sheet of the actual footage of each size width that has been delivered to the job site before beginning installation. Using the tally sheet, we can then plan out a random pattern prior to installation, ensuring we don't run out of any particular size. Some helpful tips at this stage are: you can plan ahead and place narrow planks in smaller rooms and larger planks in more prominent or larger areas. Install your flooring under good lighting conditions. It makes it easier to balance board length and color variations in the wood. Open several bundles at a time, mixing the planks to ensure that flooring characteristics are evenly spread throughout the entire floor. Take precautions to avoid damaging the finish. For example, place tools on a protective mat while installing and continue to vacuum excess sawdust and abrasives throughout the process. Always remove the 3M 2090 blue masking tape within 4 hours of applying the tape. There are 2 installation methods that we can use with our hardwood flooring: the glue down method and the glue and nail staple method. We're going to start by talking about our recommended method, the glue down method. To get a thorough understanding of these methods, please refer to Northern Wide Plank's wood flooring installation guide. The first point to mention is that if you're installing wood flooring over radiant heat, we recommend always using this method. Furthermore, we invite you to contact one of our flooring consultants at Northern Wide Plank and refer to separate instructions for installing over radiant heat. Another point to consider is whether your base concrete slab is below grade. Below grade means any slab that is below ground level. For example, any walkout basement is usually below grade. If your flooring is below grade, install using full spread of a wood stick 19 adhesive according to manufacturer's instructions. The first thing we need to do is select a starter wall. We recommend to use an exterior wall, as these are usually straight and square with the room. Measure out from the wall the width of 2 planks plus a 5/8 of an inch expansion gap. Mark each end of the room and snap your chalk line. Secure a straight edge inside the chalk line before you spread your adhesive to ensure alignment, which is critical and part of the installation. This prevents movement of the planks that can cause misalignment. We recommend using a B11 or 1/4 inch by 3/16 of an inch V-notch trowel at a 45-degree angle to get the proper spread of adhesive applied to the subfloor. This is important as it produces a proper and permanent bond. Improper bonding can cause loose or hollow spots. Spread adhesive from the straight edge out about 750 millimeters. Working in small sections is helpful for this method, as it will allow you to reach across the adhesive to install the wood flooring without putting any weight on it, and will ensure proper transfer of the adhesive to the wood flooring. It's important to note that temperature and airflow across the adhesive can have an effect on the open time of the adhesive. It will have a longer open time in areas of low humidity, and will have a shorter open time with areas of high humidity. Install the first row of starter planks with the tongue side of the plank facing the straight edge and secure into position, making sure the first row of starter planks have a full tongue to ensure you end up with straight rows. Hold them tight together and tape with 3M blue mask tape to prevent movement and continue with the installation. An important note, make sure the planks used for the starter row have full tongues. Proper alignment is critical. Misaligned starter rows can cause side and end gaps to appear in the preceding rows of flooring. When you have the starter rows complete, you can begin the next row. Once we have the starter row secure, spread 750 millimeters of glue along the length of the room. Never spread more adhesive than can be covered using the open time recommended listed in the instructions on the adhesive label. If the adhesive has skinned over, remove dried adhesive and trowel new adhesive. Then place the tongue into the groove of planks and press firmly into the adhesive. Never slide planks through adhesive and never install planks further than you can comfortably reach. As we continue working across the floor, we're trying to maintain a 24-inch minimum space between end joints. Randomly install different lengths to avoid a pattern sequence. Remember, use caution when using a rubber mallet to butt material together. It can burnish the finish and cause marring. At this stage, we want to test for proper bond by occasionally lifting a board and looking for good coverage, around 90%, and then replace it into the adhesive. Remember to clear any adhesive off the surface with a non-abrasive trowel before it cures. As we approach the end wall, it may be necessary to cut the width of the last row. Be sure to allow for the expansion space along the end wall. Once the final cuts are made, set planks into place. After we've completed the floor, we remove the straight edge and complete installation in the same manner. Then use a pry bar to fit the last row of boards into place, and be sure to have the minimum required expansion gap of 5/8 of an inch. Then restrict light foot traffic for a minimum of 10 to 12 hours and wait 24 hours before permitting moving furniture onto the floor. Remember to clean any wet adhesive from the flooring with a slightly dampened clean cloth. If the adhesive has cured, don't panic. You can remove it with a plastic scraper and dry non-abrasive trowel, taking care to not damage the finish. Flooring that is not flat should be weighted down to apply pressure to installed sections while the adhesive is still active, usually for approximately 30 to 60 minutes. This ensures proper contact between the flooring and substrate. Use protective padding to avoid any damage to the floor surface. After cleaning the floor, inspect it for nicks, scratches, gaps, or planks that may have moved during installation, as well as any other imperfections that need attention. In typical climates, the new floor can accept foot traffic within 24 hours. In areas where additional curing time is required, more time may be needed. Remember to check out the Northern Wide Plank Wood Flooring Installation Guide for all this information and some more helpful tips. Okay, now we're going to talk about using the glue and nail or staple down method of installation. This method is applicable when we're working with 5/8 to 3/4 inch thick material. Thankfully, we have these beautiful 3/4 inch thick engineered 10-inch wide planks manufactured by Northern Wide Plank for this job. Before we start this process, it's important to mention that the same pre-installation job prep that we talked about earlier applies here. First, we need to staple or nail 1 to 2 inches from the ends and every 4 to 6 inches along the edges. This helps ensure a satisfactory installation. We recommend setting the compressor PSI at 35 to 40 kilograms to keep the staples from going through or breaking the tongues. Improper stapling techniques can cause squeaks in the floor. We want the nail or staple to be flush in the nail pocket, so adjustments may be necessary. You can use a scrap piece of flooring material to calibrate your tools properly before beginning. Keep in mind at this stage that there is no complete moisture barrier system for staple or nail down installations. First, we need to select the starter wall. We recommend starting the installation along the exterior wall, as it is more likely to be straight and square with the room. Then measure out from the ends of your starting wall. The overall width of the plank, as previously noted, these northern wide plank floors are 10 inches wide, meaning the faceboard width plus a 5/8 needed for the expansion gap, and mark both ends. Where possible, lay the flooring at a 90-degree angle to the floor joists. We then make a chalk line along the starting wall, using the marks we have made. Then spread wood stick 19 adhesive using a B11 or 1/4 inch by 3/16 of an inch V-notch trowel, or apply wood stick 10 adhesive to secure the first starter roll along the wall edge, 1 to 2 inches from the ends and every 4 to 6 inches along the side. Then we countersink the nails and fill with filler that blends with the flooring installed. Place the nails in a dark green spot on the board. The base or shoe molding will cover the nails when installed. Important note, proper alignment is critical here. Misaligned starter rows can cause side and end gaps to appear in preceding rows of flooring. We then continue the installation using the recommended adhesive and engineered wood flooring stapler or nailer, using staples or nail cleats combined. Nail or staple the flooring 1 to 2 inches from the end and every 4 to 6 inches along the edge tongue. Before you do this, make sure the tool is adjusted properly to ensure that the fastener is at the proper angle and is flush within the nail pocket. As we continue working across the floor, we're trying to maintain a 24-inch minimum space between end joints. We randomly install different lengths to avoid a pattern sequence. If needed, we can use a tapping block to help engage the boards together until the tongue and groove is flush and tight and no gaps are present between adjacent planks. Remember, never use a rubber mallet or hammer directly on the flooring to engage the tongue and grooves. This can damage the flooring and/or finish. As we approach the end wall, it may be necessary to cut the width of the last row. Be sure to allow for expansion along the end wall. Once the final cuts are made, set the planks into place. The last few rows will then need to be fastened by hand. To fasten the final planks into place, we either manually blind nail and/or face nail through the surface on the planks. Now that we've installed our beautiful northern wide plank engineered hardwood wide plank floors, there's a few final touches we need to consider. Always remove the 3M 2090 blue masking tape within 4 hours of applying the tape. Then wait 10 to 12 hours to resume light foot traffic and 18 to 24 hours for regular traffic after installation to allow for proper cure time for the glue. Inspect finished floor for nicks. If needed, please contact Northern Wide Plank for approved touch-up materials. Then clean the floor with the correct hardwood floor cleaner and complete initial maintenance in accordance with the Northern Wide Plank cleaning and care guide instructions. If you have unused material, it should be left with the owner and store in a dry place in case of future repairs are needed. And always use plywood or hardboard when moving heavy appliances or furniture across the floor. That's all for this video on the proper installation of your Northern Wide Plank engineered wide planks. Please visit northernwideplank.ca for the full installation guide. Happy flooring!